Hi, I'm feminist Erin Gibson.
And I'm homosensual Drew Droege.
And this is Attitudes.
LGBTQ plus issues.
Gender issues.
Pop culture.
And honey, grab your lipstick and your bonnet. We're going to hell.
Woo.
Can you handle it? If you're too stupid to know, we have Drew Droege here today.
I feel stupid to be here. I'm so excited.
Drew, what can't Drew Droege do?
Oh, I could give you a list.
Go. This was an invitation, not an intro.
Walk through life without knocking into things. I'm so clumsy. It's terrible. It's getting worse.
What do you think? You're just more free?
I wish. Or I'm just like, my brain is just constantly going and I'm like, oh, you walked into, I have been so injured lately and luckily fine.
How long were you in New York with this affliction? Running into things.
New York and I are at odds and it always wins. It's concrete jungle. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say something really
No one's ever said it.
No one's ever called it that before. I'm calling it out here, folks. No, I'm just like, I'm also unaware of my body. Like I'm a 6'3", 200-pound man. And I go through the world like I'm an eyelash.
But it is shocking to me. I think I'm
just like this little thing that kind of gets in and out. I'm like, no, you can't fit there. No, there's a wall there that you will. I've skinned my knee 3 times on this wall outside of where I'm staying. And now I'm like, don't go that way. I now have to go a new way around this wall so that I don't skin my knee.
You have to put an extra 5-minute buffer in so you don't.
I'm constantly traveling with Band-Aids.
So you don't look like Dennis the Menace. Also, current reference.
Current reference, y'all. Get it? Google it.
If people don't know, I always get mad at children for not knowing things. But then I think, could I have some grace and some empathy? Because when we grew up, we had the luxury of having old things spoon-fed to us via Nick at Night.
Yes, 100%.
So we got to learn by the sheer, we just wanted to avoid our families. So then Nick at Night would teach us about the monkeys.
And the monkey, we had this, not only like we had 50s, 60s, 70s, because I think about like, I grew up watching One Day at a Time. I'm like, that wasn't our era, but reruns were on. And so like, we just knew all the sort of collective pop culture things. And now it's just a million things at once. And you ask any kid and they all have wildly different interests and tastes. And like, they don't have like collective. Yeah. So
what's humbling is my nephew asking us, could we make him a playlist of the early 2000s? Because he wanted an oldies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But it is. It's 25 years.
I was like, I'll put the Decemberists on something for you, sir. Just in case people are not educated on who you are, which I don't know why you're listening to this show, but I really don't understand why I even have to do this, but for 3 people, I have to do this. Okay. And also to celebrate you, Drew, because
thank you.
Can I say, as someone who's known you for, I think, going on 20 years now, it must be.
Yeah.
To see you blossom, to see you soaring right now. I mean, we all knew from Chloe on that you were going to be in the place that you are right now. But you know Drew from Titanic. If you didn't see it in New York with Drew in the cast, like
go see it. It's still running. Yeah,
it's still running. It's fantastic. I just saw the new play. Big Gay
Jamboree. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Fantastic.
Oh my God, I
saw
happy.
that and Oh Mary in the same. Back to back.
Honey,
recommend.
You were fed.
Yes, I was full. I left New York City full. Not on food that I paid an appropriate amount of money for, but on theater.
On just bountiful, queer, stupid art like that we need. Yeah.
Just I remember distinctly in both shows laughing and just saying out loud, so dumb.
Yes.
Joyful. Joyful.
I've seen Oh Mary twice and it's just.
You have?
I would watch it many more times. I love it so much.
I would watch Cole just roll around and show off bloomers for hours.
I'm not going to spoil anything for people who haven't seen it, but that moment, there's a moment when they just go, you know what I'm talking about? And it's like, shouldn't work. And I think about it so often, how funny it is. Like, you wrote that and then you're just like, and then Mary at one point, just like, it just goes to the most juvenile place. And yet I was being tickled like I was 4 years old again in the best way.
Sat next to a man in his 70s from San Diego.
Oh.
Which is where Drew is right now.
Where I am now, yeah.
And doing a performance of the Old Globes. It is called Dracula, no?
Dracula, A Comedy of Terrors is the full
that's right.
title of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Full thing, which you should go see for two reasons. Number one, Drew steals the show, as I've read in the reviews, steals the show as sex-starved Mina.
Yes. And I'm also Van Helsing as a woman.
Great. Miss Van Helsing. Yes.
It's very Cloris Leachman, inspired. It's very Mel Brooks inspired.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to see it the second I get to LA. But the guy sitting next to me from San Diego, I thought, oh, great. I got to sit next to this Trumper.
Right.
During Oh Mary. When I tell you this man was laughing, living his life, this straight man with his family. Literally. And that part in particular, the most childish parts, he was like, I can't believe I'm seeing such high art.
It's so good.
It was a joy. And guess what?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say not a read, but very simple. In a way that was so refreshing. I felt like I wasn't being assaulted by a bunch of fucking random ideas. It was simple. It had, you could breathe. The jokes repeated and morphed. And I mean, I don't know what else to say.
No, truly. It also comes from such a pure place of, I find this funny. This is what makes me laugh, without sort of trying to reach out and going, oh, what's trending now? What's going to be the thing? What's smart? Because I don't think that's actually what is smart. I think what is truly intelligent is what comes from the depths of your truth. And that's absolutely what Oh Mary is, and why people are responding to it. And it doesn't preach or try to be anything else. It's 80 minutes. It's like in and out. It's perfect. It's
perfect.
And Drew, inspiring to all of us. It really inspired to watch that. It's like, to be like, just live in that space. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Just do your own thing. And,
I feel like you are such a good arbiter of that. I feel like everything I see you in, I mean, Golden Girls, from Chloe to Golden Girls. I'm sure you're doing it in this play. I haven't seen, your newest film, which isn't out yet, right? Are you in Queer?
Queer. Yes, I'm in Queer.
Are you embarrassed by your talent?
Oh my God. I thought you were like, are you embarrassed to be in that movie? I'm like, no. A little bit.
Wait, are you? Well, is it because
no.
I mean,
no, it's no,
okay.
I'm just like, I feel like what am I doing in this movie? I mean, I was so honored.
I know.
I was like, what an
obvious
happening
choice
to get to do this. Yeah, it was an incredible experience. I can't wait to see it. I haven't gotten to see it yet because I've been in San Diego doing this play and all the premieres and screenings and stuff, and I haven't been able to get to the places. So I don't think there's an LA premiere in November. It's going to be out in theaters November 27th.
Great.
It's Luca Guadagnino's new film, Queer, starring Daniel Craig and Drew Starkey. And
did you have to eat anything sexually?
Sexually, no. No, I'm the evil. I mean, I'm basically spoiler. Yeah, you've seen Magnolia. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm basically the Henry Gibson part in Magnolia, like the barfly, the evil queen who's like, girl, honey, like that's basically my part. It's so much fun. I got to be like so queeny and mean to Daniel Craig, who is genuinely the most lovely human being on, like the kindest, and gives a riveting performance. Like there's buzz, Oscar, and 100%. Like he is phenomenal in this movie.
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see you IRL and also on the big screen.
Thank you. I was very, very honored. Especially
Did you shoot
now
it in LA?
We shot it in Rome. And the whole experience was just like, sure, just go to Rome for 3 weeks and do this
Were
Do
you
this
trying
movie.
to angle to see Luca's? You know, Luca has this like compound outside of like in the countryside where he has like his editing bay and all this stuff.
He's so lovely, and he and sort of informally invited, like, you should come, whatever, and like just come in the summer. And so I'm I don't know, I would love to at some point go and do that. He's so instantly familiar and like welcome into the full. Like he was so lovely the entire time. I couldn't believe what was happening, and the imposter syndrome was flying
off
all
the
over me.
charts.
So I was like, what are you doing here in this thing? You know, I go through that thing, and I don't know if you are this way, but I'm constantly like,
every day,
why am I not working? Why am I not doing that thing? Why am I not? And the second you get a glimpse of it, you're like, why am I working? Why did they hire me? Why did they? And it's just like, we're crazy.
This is the psychological trauma that we feel like we have to put ourselves through as people, as career entertainment people, which is that you're either overcompensating with extreme absolute confidence, or you're suddenly like, oh God, no, I got myself into this with the overconfidence and now I don't have the skills to pay this off.
Yeah. It's never,
everyone does it.
I know, it's wild. It's wild.
Wouldn't it feel good to just be like, just as you described earlier, just a little eyelash, just floating here and there, not worried about anything.
I just show up and I do things. I don't know. I guess people like it. Like I so want to be that person, and instead I'm just this ball of anxiety and like, what am I?
Have you thought about doing 500 milligrams of mushrooms every day?
No, but I've heard about this whole little microdosing situation.
That's a macro dose, but microdosing I don't think works on people like us.
Yeah, you know, here's my thing with mushrooms. I love them. I do love drugs, and I'm a big advocate of them. But mushrooms I enjoy, but I have stomach issues, and they just mess. I'm constantly having the whole time. I'm like,
can't do it.
So I much prefer an edible, like a THC edible, because that for me is like, and that can really.
That's a leveler, yeah.
But you know, I don't go through life. I like those at night when I don't really have to be super, because sometimes I can be cuckoo on that. But mushrooms, I love them, but I enjoy the experience, but I'm just constantly like, oh, my stomach is just torn apart.
Well, you can't do them then. You absolutely can't do them.
Yeah.
Drew, are you excited? Okay, first of all, let's talk about San Diego for a second, because San Diego is kind of famous on this show because Brian hates it.
I know. I love that.
I'm mid on it. I have places that I love, and one of them is Balboa Park, where you're performing.
Yes.
People don't understand the architecture there.
It's unbelievable. I was walking through there, and
is it Baroque? What is it?
Back in Rome, I was like going, am I in Europe here? It's kind of wild walking through the whole thing. It's all of those things. In one of my shows, I have a dig on San Diego. I literally I talk about a guy being really, I said, yeah, sure, he's gorgeous, but so is San Diego. And I don't want to ever go back there again either. And because it's gorgeous, and kind of like, what I love about San Diego, I love the funky 70s Three's Company fonts everywhere. They have not left. There's so many mom and pop shops that are just like, and it's just like, there's one little apartment complex called Little Robbie. And it's in these like funky letters. And you know, like in LA, all the different places are called like, the Highlander or whatever. This is called Little Robbie. Sure. Why not?
With the LIL or little?
Oh, I wish it was LIL. I think it's Little.
That's okay. They spelled it out.
They tried.
They did it properly.
Not everybody can be Lil Abner, but everything is like funky and feels kind of like porny in a way. There's this amazing dive bar that has incredible hamburgers called
Is this with the grill in the middle?
The grill?
You grill your own steaks?
No. That might be something else. This is called Nunu's. And sorry, my camera just went into like Michael Mann. I feel like I'm in The Insider all of a sudden. I don't know what's happening lighting wise. But there's this place called Nunu's, and they have these incredible hamburgers, and you can get like a cocktail with it, and it's these booths, and they're kind of mean to you, and I kind of like it. So like, there's like a real like kind of anti-cool vibe here that I really like. Like that I really like.
I found that it is one of the most exciting places, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but most exciting places for NA alcohol culture, like non-alcoholic beverage mix. I don't know if they call themselves mixologists, but I've had the best non-alcoholic drinks of my life in San Diego.
Wow. Okay.
And I don't know if it's because of the Christian contingency down there.
Right. No,
Or
and
I don't know, military inspo.
Yeah, who knows? I need to check those out. I'm trying to drink less. I've been sort of like at home, like when this play, I'm like realizing I'm like, I don't need, so that's a good sort of modifier for me.
There's a place called The Fishery, which I really like. I don't know if you've been there. They have incredible NA cocktails. And they have incredible seafood, also family owned, not porny. I hate to tell you.
No, we can't have everything.
We can't have everything. Do you go to Sunset Beach? Is that what it's called?
I have not been to the beach yet, but we just opened the show, so we've been in.
Wait, you've been in previews? We've been
in rehearsals that are like 10-hour days. So we have one day off a week. So it's like, Erin, like,
this is hardcore.
Theatre is such a different schedule than how we're like raised. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing here because I'm like, oh, I'm used to like 3-hour rehearsals. You get it done till it's done. No. We are there. We have breaks. We have to be all the things. You have a half hour to do this. And then everything's very modulated. And I'm losing my mind a little bit because I'm like, wait, what? Let's just get it done. But
because you're often thrown in, like, I'm sure movies and TV, sometimes you're thrown into the fray, like, with just minutes to prepare.
Yes, exactly. And also just our sketch comedy roots are like, you write it that morning and you're doing it that night often, and you're rewriting it, sometimes handing new lines, or as you're walking out on stage going, just say this at the end. Great. And tell the booth that's the blackout line. Like, you're used to working like that. And then you get in like theater with an RE and they are like, oh, no. This has to go through 1,200 channels and you have to do a whole thing. So we've just been super busy doing this, getting it open.
It's engineering in a way.
It is. And it makes me crazy sometimes for comedy. I'm like, this is sort of antithetical to live magic. It just sort of is like, oh, we thought about this until it's like when you take a butterfly, whoever did the butterfly about like, you can enjoy a butterfly or you can stab it into styrofoam and study it and go, why is this beautiful? But butterfly's dead. You know, it's that kind of sometimes
yes.
it can do that.
But do you feel like there hits a moment where it's so in your DNA that it's now you've transcended all of the math?
Well, yeah. What's crazy is that like we all came in this like in different ways, in this like this cast that I'm working with. We're all such different types of people, and it's so fun. And we're figuring, and we're doing it, and we're rolling with it, and we're getting great reviews, and the shows are so fun. So it's like at a certain point, you're like, we got there, and we figured it out. But
does the audience get it? The audience gets it.
Oh,
they're like okay. they're there for fun.
The audience. I don't want to jinx it because we have many more shows to go. They are old, very old. Count the electrics. Some on the matinees. Well, I have to run around so much, and so I go up into the lobby to run through to make an entrance, and I usually count about 6 motorized wheelchairs that are just in the lobby. They are loving it so much. There are references to the Beatles and I Love Lucy that they think it is literally like they are living. They're loving it so much.
So you're saying when I come, I should definitely do a matinee.
Definitely do a matinee. Please, it's usually like, it takes like groups of people are encouraging everyone else that they can laugh. Because I don't know that a lot of people know they can laugh out loud. It is literally called a comedy in the thing. We literally have a sign. The title of the show is a round. It's in the round. We're all
yes.
in the round, which I haven't done since college. And I love it. I love having people that close to me. We have moments where we like directly talk to them, but that makes them very nervous, but we don't make fun of them. We don't include them. It's never crowd work.
It's just a little winky.
It's winky. Like sometimes we're at a party and so they're all at the party with us. And sometimes we're in whatever. It's part of the vibe of the show. So that for them is like, oh, these actors are going to touch me and bother me. And I'm like, we don't do that. But yeah, they are loving it. And there are things in the play that I think are so funny and so great. And those kind of get like, maybe it gets a laugh. And then the things that I think are just like, so it's a brilliantly written play for knowing its audience. And people ask about like, if kids can come and say, okay, for kids. And I'm like, it's totally, I think it's like PG. They think it's like the most X-rated thing they've ever done here. But I'm like, oh God, I have done so much trash So
You're
much.
Don't ask Drew if you should bring your kids.
Don't ask me. But my thing is, I think your kids might be bored because the kids aren't going to laugh at like Abbey Road references. But boy, oh boy, do the crowds love that. So,
I can't. Seems like my exact speed. Because, I live in Santa Fe now. I don't want to do new young people stuff when I go to California.
Yeah. No, you will love it. It's 90 minutes. It's quick. It's fast. A million costumes. It's in and out. And it's really fun to do. Like getting through it, I'm like, oh, this is a very fun show to do. And I love that the audiences love it so much because how awful to be in a turd where you're sitting there going, oh no one's laughing. And this is
every
so
night.
Embarrassing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because we do 8 shows a week. So it's a lot.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. It's a full on.
So you have a show tonight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Drew, I'm very impressed. This is a work ethic I'm not sure I have.
I don't really have it. I'm it's very like, oh, this is new for me to have to work like this. But hey.
It's only for 2 months.
Only for 2 months.
Only for 8 whole weeks.
Oh, I know.
64 performances.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm so excited to see it. Your pretzel wig is that what it's called? A pretzel wig?
Yeah, because there's literal pretzels in it. I mean, that might be what it's called, but there's literal pretzels in the wig.
Can't wait. I can't wait. The whole thing is fantastic. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's really fun. And
I can't wait to see it.
The cast is so good. The cast is fantastic. They're all so great. And everyone's just like, doing, it's a great show because it's 5 actors and they all get to do great stuff. Like everyone gets a really fun job.
So fun.
Yeah.
No one's just sitting there being the setup.
Right. No one has to be like, I have to just be, because even like our Dracula is like super hot, but he's so funny and George Christos playing him. He's so funny and he gets to do all these really like, just these jokes about what a narcissist he is. And so like everyone gets they get their thing,
What are you looking forward to? Are you looking forward to anything for the rest of 2024?
What am I looking forward to?
I mean, you've done so much. I don't know why I'd put more pressure on you, especially after
Erin,
that.
I've done so much. I'm looking forward to like the entertainment industry coming back because I know we're like putting things in, but it's so dead right now.
Wait, you've heard the phrase, right?
You stay alive till 25.
Yeah,
I hope that's true.
Me too.
Because 24 has been really poor. I don't know how to rhyme 24, but it's been rough. It's been really rough. Like more than I think pandemic and strike. I mean, I don't want to be like, I don't know. Just this year has been tough on a lot of people that I've noticed that in the business, we're all like, what am I doing? What is my purpose? And I know we put out a lot like, oh, I'm busy. I'm doing this and that. But I have been like, what am I doing? Like, I don't really know. So I'm grateful to be doing what I'm doing, but happy I just want back. Like I think about my life, like 2016 and before when you're like going, oh, we were just busier. We were just more like, there are more things just happening or opportunities for things to happen and stuff. And it's just been this very strange thing. So that I'm optimistically looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Kamala Harris becoming our president.
Oh, me too.
Very much so looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, that other one going to jail under her watch, which really makes me happy. I'm just praying for that to happen. So that
is Golden Girls happening this year?
Golden Girls happened in August, and
I'm so sorry. I missed it.
No, I didn't do it. I haven't done it for the last 2 years. I had to take a little break. I love it. It was getting to be a lot. Some people in the group wanted to do it a lot more. We make great money when we do it, and it is a lot of fun. But I was getting burnout, and it was becoming like a regular thing. And I was like, we do this drag Golden Girls thing. It's so fun, but we do the classic episodes. And I just, at a certain point, I was like, I need to just do something a little more creative for a while. But I'm joining them again. I'm coming back in February. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but I'll say it here. I don't care. Sorry. Spoilers. We have a special guest named Bob the Drag Queen who will be joining us in February. TV, in LA. That's what we are.
Get your tickets now, even though you can't.
They're not up yet, but I'm just teasing with that.
This is very exciting.
I hope I'm okay to say that. Maybe not. Maybe I'll get in trouble, but that's like cooking. So just get it. I'm very excited.
This is so exciting.
It's my first time actually working with Bob. I've known and loved him for long, but we don't know each other well, but I'm very excited to get to do a show with him. And
so exciting.
Yeah.
Drew, I mean, I just can't wait to see you in all these iterations and just see you in person. I don't think I've seen you since
I haven't seen
2019.
you in person. I don't think so either. So I'm
Because you
so
were in New
excited.
York then?
Yeah. So can you talk about why you're going to be in LA?
Oh yeah, I was writing on a TV show and they've picked it up for a second season. So I'm
Oh my
gonna
God,
go
congrats.
right back. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, do I love LA?
Sure. No, I know.
No.
You know, I loved LA. I've lived in LA for 25 years and I will defend LA. I really, really enjoyed a lot of it. And I came back in January and I'm like, it's taken a real hit. Like it's not, and I'm hoping that it gets back because I do have a lot of love. I've lived there longer than anywhere else in my life.
Yeah, me too.
Coming back after having done it, I was like in New York doing Titanic and I came back in January for 5 months of doing that. And I was like, oh, also a lot of great people have left. And so it's kind of like, who are my people now? And what's the vibe? And everyone's nuts because no one's working and the entire town is about that one industry.
Yeah.
You know, even my doctor, who I adore, was like, I'm taking intermediate at the Groundlings. And I'm like, oh, sir, please don't.
Why?
Please just like check my blood
You are
pressure.
a doctor.
Yeah. And like make sure I don't have organ failure. And you're a great doctor. And I love your vibe. You're so great. Please don't. But everyone's like, you know, headshots are never. So it's exhausting and a little stupid. But it's even scarier when no one's like actually like working very late. So it's just, it's kind of a.
I also feel like sometimes I'm like, it's this weird chasm of the only thing to do is with your friends is to go eat.
Yes.
And I don't enjoy spending money on food anymore like that. I just don't, I don't like it. And then what's the alternative?
Right.
I don't,
well, and you're
watching TV together. I don't like,
you're so
what is there to
separated
do
from each other that you are like,
you're in San Diego doing a play.
Right. Right. So like if you're like people that are in LA, I'm like, I can't come, you know, but you really are like, you spend time with the people that you're working with, you know? I mean, Brian and I say that to each other. We rarely get to hang out because, you know, it's just the thing of like, oh, if your life is not absolutely in line with each other, you don't always get to see each other. You don't have your like,
yeah.
So that's
like I get up at 5 a.m. because I need to be outside of the culture in LA.
Uh-huh.
Once people start waking up, I start getting unnerved. So if you can't have breakfast with me
at 5 a.m.,
I go to breakfast at 7.
Wow.
Yeah. If you can't meet me at Spyglass Coffee
Oof,
at 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
I don't have the nervous system anymore to be in LA. And so I have to like mitigate the input.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? This is
no, totally.
This is, I'm with your wheelchair brigade in the audience.
I love it, but I'm also like we also have to just check in with ourselves and go, what do I need, and as opposed to what am I supposed to need or what am I supposed to want and enjoy? Because I know there's been all these efforts to try to keep a lot of work in LA, but I'm also kind of like okay traveling other places to work a little bit. And I know I know that's problematic for all the people that like families and people that have to stay in town to work.
It's families. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Which I totally acknowledge. And
I
would rather work at home and be like, oh, drive down, and whatever to get.
Oh, but come on. Like, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I have to go to Rome to work.
Oh, I know. I mean,
sorry.
that's also like, but also like everything I've been up for is like shooting in like, Kansas or Vancouver or wherever. And I'm sort of like, it's sort of an adventure to see a new place. And I kind of like the sort of vagabond aspect of it and then not have to be like locked in there all the time because it's a great place to go in and out of and to visit. And also, to kind of check in and kind of be like, oh, I don't have to talk about that. Nicole Payon and I used to always talk about having our one thing prepared. We'd always go, what's your one thing? So that when people go, what are you working on? What are you doing? You have like a knee jerk. You can just say, I'm doing this. Because I don't care and you don't either. When you ask me that question, you don't care.
It's like just saying, how are you? Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, I think about growing up in the South, everyone goes, where do you live and where do you go to church? Uh-huh. That's just a question. Where do y'all go to church? And it's not with any sort of, I know that for other people that's so upsetting and like, what are you asking me? But it's just it's a friendly gesture. In LA, it's like, what are you working on? And people think they're being nice and they think you want to talk about what you're working on. And it's exhausting and I finally go, oh, I don't know. And sometimes I go, just staying alive. And people are like, oh, no, don't worry about it. You're going to get something. And I'm like, oh my God.
Activating that kind of response.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm just trying to be a person right now. And that's hard for some people to understand.
I know.
So it's much easier to go, I'm doing a play in San Diego. Boom. Great. So it's always like, you always like to have that when you go out in public, have your one thing that you're working on, which is so exhausting because you're just like, this isn't for anybody, but it's the small talk of LA. You don't want to be like, I don't know.
What are you working on? My 67 Chevy?
How about it? Working on being retired. Don't ask me nothing.
Don't ask me to do a damn thing. What am I working on? Being a fucking stud. Being the biggest sex, being the most fuckable woman in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Eating my way through the city via cheese.
I'm from now on, I'm going to say being the most fuckable woman in Los Angeles. And then just as loud as I can. See,
do it. I bet, you know what? It'll break the ice because everyone will be like, oh, thank God. We don't have to talk about it now because Drew made a joke.
Because I know. I love it. You know, I say to people, I'm like, how are you? And some people go, oh, who cares? And I go, no, really, how are you? I don't mean that as code for tell me the TV show that you're on. Because it's like, you know. Yeah. It gets exhausting. And we all just want to, at the end of the day, Drew, we just want to laugh. We just want to laugh. We want to be held and understood.
We want to just put on a weird wig and come to a party and start a conversation.
Thank you. About anything, but
anything. Yeah. Drew, should we get into a shoe?
Get into a shoe.
Okay, let's do it. Have you been to Kansas City?
No, I have not been to Kansas City.
I love that you didn't ask which one.
I know.
You're like, neither.
I've been to neither. Yeah.
This comes out of Kansas City, Missouri, which good on them, I guess, for their city.
And Kansas City, Missouri is the bigger city, right?
If you say so.
Okay, great.
I have no idea.
Okay, I don't.
All I know is that the fact that there's a Kansas City, Missouri, and a Kansas City, Kansas, proves two things: Americans are lazy and we love to cheat.
Yeah, 100%. Also, look at the state of Georgia. There's Rome. There's so many like cities in
Paris,
Georgia. Paris, Texas. Also, like I went to Wake Forest University, but there's also Wake Forest, North Carolina. That they're not the same place. It's, you know, whatever. We
repeat. We're too busy with other shit. Their city council recommended a $1.3 million settlement for a lesbian firefighter and paramedic Rebecca Reynolds. Mm-hmm. Now, they didn't give her $1.3 million because they were like, you did a great job. They were like, oh, guess what? We just had this extra money lying around and Rebecca, you're so great. We thought we'd give it to you.
Right. She
was endured 21 years of homophobic, sexist, and ageist treatment from every single person she works with.
Oh my God.
21 years.
I laugh because my heart breaks for her.
Isn't it? Like, also, the sheer tenacity to stay in that job.
100%.
I mean,
that's the thing. You know, I grew up in Lincolnton, North Carolina, and I had 1 year of it that was really bad, 7th grade. And then by 8th grade, I got to be funny and I pretended that I was possessed and the bullies were scared of me. I had a devil inside me and I acted super weird. And that's my advice to queer kids, especially in the South. Act like you have a devil in you and they will leave you alone because they think you're, I'll let you think
possessed?
All the things. I'm possessed. I have demons in me. Sure. Think it all. They stay away because I didn't know how else to do it.
But it worked.
It worked. And then I had enough love and support around me. I had a loving family. I had loving friends. I had really close high school friends and a lot of them have ended up being queer now. I went to high school with a lot of queer people now that I know now still that I'm like, oh, that person. And so I'm very lucky. And then I got out. I fled. I couldn't wait to leave that situation because I always knew New York, LA, somewhere was going to be home.
Well, that's the thing I always come back to. Like, I know we were just shitting on LA, or I was, let's be honest. I'm very down on LA, but I don't want that to be without the appreciation that I personally have for LA, making me the person that I am.
Oh, sure. You also outgrow, you outgrow
and having
places.
a safe haven to be exactly who you are without judgment.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, St. Louis, Missouri is not like a tiny town. It's nothing. It's way, way bigger than Lincoln, North Carolina or other places. But the people who stay, even in those medium-sized or large cities, have this big of a queer group as opposed to this big, if they're lucky. And they have stayed and they're fighting the good fight. They're the ones they're working next to Trump supporters every day. They're the ones who are enduring that. And they are heroes because I've fled. I was like, I'm good. I don't care.
Not everybody wants to leave their home.
Yeah, I know.
Or has the desire to,
Exactly.
And staying in a job for 21 years and dealing with this, it might not have been a choice, it might have been like, and I will say this, Rebecca talks about how good she is at her job and how much, being a paramedic and a fire professional, firefighter, you're doing a community service. So to be harassed in a job like that, not that you should be harassed at all, but.
Right. You cheat death every day. At your job.
Every day.
And you're saving lives. You're literally putting your life on the line to save other people's lives. But I also think too, I wonder about like when like in 7th grade, I would measure every day whether I was called a faggot or not. Like that would be like a good day or a bad day.
Well,
I
hope this isn't triggering for you.
No, not at all. I'm happy to share this. No, my heart breaks for that kid that I was. But in the moment I was like, good day today. Nobody called me that word today. And it was like, so you accept things like over 21 years. I'm sure it's part of like, well, that's Don. He's going to say that to me. That's Fred. He's like that. And you just accept that sort of treatment as just like, as what's normal. And, and like anybody else who's experienced something else would come in and go, you are not allowed to say that to me. How dare you? We're done. So, good on Rebecca. I hope she spends every penny of that money on self-care and just wild trips and whatever she and her partner want to do.
Whatever she wants to. Well, it's kind of crazy because she joined the academy at 40.
Whoa.
And so that basically that was kind of the ageism factor of of this fucking mosaic of shit that she experienced. Like one was that she was 40 when she got into the department, but she got in. She did all those drills I just only think it's whatever happened at Backdraft.
Yeah. I don't have any Backdraft. So much.
I got
when
no
Donald
other
Sutherland
reference.
died, I was telling everybody like Backdraft. And everyone's like, I don't remember. I go, Donald Sutherland in Backdraft is one of the, as a child, I was like, that's one of the most unsettling, brilliant performances I've ever seen in my life.
He's brilliant. If you haven't watched Backdraft, you've had almost 37 years. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
I'm sure there are moments in it that are horrible and so stupid, but I love it.
I remember there was one scene. Now we're just talking about Backdraft, but it's fine. There was one scene where it was like the air gets sucked in.
Yeah, that was the whole
door.
Thing. The pyromaniacs developed this chemical that would let it was like a little flick of flame would come under the door and then it would go and it would like come out. And so people were like, oh, where did the flame go? And they opened the door and then the flame
would explode. There also was a sex scene on top of a fire truck.
Yes, I remember that too.
With William Baldwin?
And William Baldwin. Billy Baldwin, never hotter. Well, maybe Sliver. He was hotter. Come on.
Yeah. Is he the dad of, is he Justin Bieber's father-in-law?
Oh, I don't know.
Which Baldwin was that?
I don't know.
I don't think it's Steven, is it? I don't know. Who's the Trump supporter?
That's Steven.
Okay.
Steven is the Trump supporter.
Billy Baldwin was married to China Phillips?
Yes.
Okay.
That is true. That is correct.
One of them is the father. Okay. Who is Billy Baldwin? I think his daughter is married to, I've never sounded older.
So Hailey Bieber, is that his wife or his sister?
Her Her name's Hailey Baldwin.
Oh, so is that the same? That's the same person.
Yeah, it's Billy Baldwin's daughter.
So, okay. It's
right.
Okay. I don't know, but we're like piecing the clues together. You and I should go solve
nobody
mysteries
knows
together.
No. Oh,
there's no way.
Hailey Baldwin's okay. Am I cutting out?
No, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hailey Baldwin is the niece of Billy Baldwin.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, so Hailey Baldwin's dad is Stephen Baldwin.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we got down to the bottom of it.
We need to go solve murders together. We'd really be great. We'd be like, wait, but this movie, this reminds me of this movie.
Okay, we've got a clue, but then it's like Seinfeld. It always somehow ties in.
Yeah, totally.
I
want to know. I'm going to go back to Rebecca in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Kansas City.
How did this case come up? Like, how did they eventually, did somebody go, you know what? We've been awful. Here's $1.3 million. Or did she finally go, I've had enough, or what?
She filed lawsuits and essentially, okay, I think I'll talk to you about what the kind of precursor was. And then what I think from what I've read, it was the kind of straw that, I don't even know if I should be saying that phrase. The thing that did it in.
I'm sorry, my aunt's a camel. You can't say that anymore.
That's what I don't say any turns of phrases anymore.
I know. You'll find it. You'll Google it and go, oh, that's
because I'm
really
like, oh, fuck.
You're like, I don't know.
Ding dong doesn't know. She also, okay, so here's what was happening. They would demean her while she was treating a person for medical emergencies. Her coworkers would say she wasn't normal because she identifies as a lesbian. And then she would also say she's only a lesbian because she hasn't had sex with the right man.
Wow.
Which is also, first of all, disgusting and tired. Yeah. But even if I just want to, for the record, this might be problematic, but let's give it a twirl. If you could lure a lesbian over to being straight with the most amazing sex with a man, I'm here to tell you as a straight woman, that man doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done the research.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
There is no man out there who is so good at sex that they could do this magical, impossible thing. It's just not possible.
Just as long as we're still like equating your identity and what you do in the bedroom as this, we're just never going to move forward with that. Like, so you say you're a lesbian and then they immediately go into sex. It's like it's like a Venn diagram thing. We're like, I walk through the world as a lesbian. I'm not always having lesbian sex in front of you and bothering you with the sex I'm having, but I'm identifying as this because I am this and I have to go get a coffee as a lesbian. I have to go to the DMV as a lesbian.
I have to go to work as a lesbian. Yeah.
And I go to work as a lesbian. I'm proud to do that. And that's the end of what you need to know. So it doesn't.
This is the whole problem because if I was dying from a heart attack, do I want a lesbian treating me or the guy in the corner talking about sex?
Thank you.
Option A.
Yeah. Yeah. Option A.
Putting people's lives at risk because you think you're auditioning to be a writer at Barstool Sports.
Yeah.
What do you care? What do you fucking care?
Well, clearly you've got your own issues. That's why everybody that doubles down has their issues about it. I mean, that's the only reason.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
She was also tripped by a coworker who then said, this is why we shouldn't hire old people. Tripped to the point where she injured herself and had to have surgery to repair her knee. And then, I don't know if it was during this medical leave of absence, but during some medical leave of absence that she had, one of her coworkers urinated on everything on her area, urinated while she was on medical leave. And she came back and she was like, weird, all my stuff is wet. Thought it might have been urine, had it DNA tested, and found out it was one of her coworkers.
It's baffling.
This happened recently.
Yeah.
Recently. Okay. Now, I don't want to victim blame, but one of the things that this coworker peed on was a CD player and a boogie board. Just saying.
That's when we know.
Might have only did you a favor on
this. Of a certain generation.
Yes. A certain generation.
Boogie board. I have not thought of that phrase. It's so long.
I don't know why you have a boogie board in Kansas City.
A a boogie. Yeah. Where's the water?
It's like a bodyboard.
It's sort of like
Ask your San Diego friends.
I'll ask them. I'm sure they all know down here.
Go down to Catalina. No, Coronado.
Coronado.
Yeah. Island, right?
It is an island. The military base is there.
But have you been to the Some Like It Hot hotel?
Oh, no, but that's on my list.
Okay.
It's called it has a name that I know. Yes, of
the
course.
Grand Coronado Inn? No.
Oh, is that what it is? The Grand Coronado?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Please don't listen to me. Please,
but
I don't know.
You're right. It isn't Some Like It Hot. I've not put that together. But yeah.
I think they have pictures from this movie in there, like stills and stuff. But I also, it is a great time to go because I visited it during the summer, and I think that's a bad time because there's a lot of children.
I don't do children.
Yeah.
I live basically in Balboa Park to do this play, and I walk through the zoo every day. I can walk through the zoo entrance, which is this lovely thing, but the children are where I have to walk out.
And that's why you also can't do the carousel.
What's the carousel?
There's a vintage carousel at Balboa Park.
Oh, okay. See, I don't know.
Or whatever it's called, where you get on a plastic horse and you ride around in a circle.
Yeah, carousel.
Yeah, they have
I've never been into that. I hated that as a child. Like, what's the point?
It's boring. It's
so
absolutely boring.
No, I only like it if it spins wildly, like in Something Wicked This Way Comes or Strangers on a Train. More movies.
Or Lazy Susan. Just a simple Lazy Susan. More
At
exciting.
least a Lazy Susan has like a cheese block on it and a cracker.
If she's lucky.
Yeah, lucky Susan. I don't do it. No.
I don't blame you. Well, she had a boogie board that was ruined. But I will say, this is not about her choices and what she keeps on her desk. No. It was absolutely disconcerting and upsetting.
Can you imagine if that was the defense, like the Twinkie defense? Like, well, she had a boogie board. And it's really out of date, and I couldn't stand it. She needs to upgrade.
Emoji shrug. Yeah. The saddest thing about this case, I mean, this whole thing is sad, but the saddest thing was that in order to accept the $1.3 million settlement, she had to agree to resign, which is something she didn't want to do. And unfortunately, the message is that we will solve the problem by giving this person money and removing them from the scenarios, so these other assholes don't have to change.
Right. No, I mean, that's horrible. That's not the right thing at all, because it literally is like they kind of, in their minds, they're like, we win, we got rid of her. Also, I will say though, like if you take that money and you go back to work, it will be maybe even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Were
any of those people fired or reprimanded in any way?
No. And
because
she wasn't
for me, if I were her, I'm like, money's great, but especially at that age, you're like, how much of this am I able to actually going to get into? I mean, you're doing great.
1.3 is pretty good.
Pretty good.
But she still wants to be a paramedic and help her community.
Well, can she go somewhere else?
Well, that's the thing. It's like,
now she's 60.
She's 61. That's her community. I don't know.
That's the thing that I'm like, oh man, because to me, I think it would be greater justice to be like, they're all fired and we're bringing in other people,
But I have friends who have, I'm not going to say the cities, but they're major cities. I have friends who have brothers and fathers on major city fire departments, and it's not better.
I know.
It's not fucking better.
I mean, I
maybe it's not that bad.
Thank you to all the Rebeccas in the world who are in that line of service. And there are plenty of good, but a lot of people become those jobs, but they're those people and they're bullies and they want to be. They become restaurant managers, cops, like they just need to enforce rules and they're just mean.
They're mean. And they're going to do it. And they want power.
They're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so all they know is like, and so I go through the world. I'm constantly
restaurant managers.
Oh, they're the worst. Like, like they can be like absolute. I mean, when I was a waiter, I was like, oh, you're actually it's a species of awful that you just to enforce rules. Just someone who's like, I have no brain. I have no logic. Oh, also, I'll say it.
If you're a restaurant manager who thinks that they have defied Drew's characterization, please email us.
And again, there are wonderful, wonderful people that do that, but you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
COVID compliance officers, when we were having to deal with that, those people that were like, like made no sense about things and were so evil and mean and would scream at you when you're trying to do something about them. I can't handle when there's no logical reason why we have to do something. It is my digging my heels in. I go, why? Those are the rules. Those are the rules. So I'm very nervous.
As a fellow Southerner, I understand that because you are raised with so many rules that don't make any goddamn sense.
Exactly. And just like that's the way it's been done is crazy.
It is what it is that's a way to get me into like, I'll put on boxing gloves.
Yes. And I was doing this like panel thing with some other friends, whenever we were talking and things. And a friend of mine, she was saying her dad always used to say to her, why not you? Which I think is such a beautiful thing. Like, why not you? Why aren't you the one? And you think about applying that. I mean, like, why? I mean, I talk about like Kamala, like we're the first major nation. We're the last major nation to have a female president. Just the simplicity of that. Everywhere else in the world has had a female leader and been fine. And yet we are like, well, yeah, we're not quite. What is going on?
Oh, I mean, I remember
and why is that such it's going to be a huge moment, but it's also like, why is it going to be? Because on top of that, she's going to be great. And I'm excited about just the human being that person is. But we still have to go, oh, are we ready? Are we ready for a woman, a Black woman?
It's overdue. Ready for that?
You know, and it's like, yeah, because the rules are the rules. And it's like, but why is that a rule? And that's why I have hope for the children. The children are all one. We don't live in the binary anymore. We don't live with these rules. We don't care about like, that's just the way it's done. And I love that. That's the hope I have. Where I'm like, yeah, tell us why all of this is wrong. Please. I can't wait.
I mean, I put a mirror on all this shit. Absolutely. But then do not ask me to make a playlist because you have Spotify and you are able to Google this stuff yourself. You know what I mean? I'm 100%. Very busy woman.
And also, I don't know what you like. And everything I'm going to pick. I don't know. What am I going to do? Like crash test dummies? Is that a thing?
Well, I might even put Pebbles Mercedes on there. You know what I mean? You might get something that you didn't even want.
That's way too old, Aunt Erin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you haven't heard Pebbles? How about a little Sheena Easton?
Oh my God. I love it. Oh my God.
I will say this. The Williams Institute in 2021 published a study that said nearly half of LGBTQ plus people in the US have been discriminated in the workplace. Half. And then in Missouri, where Kansas City lives, the state does not ban discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation, even though for the last 25 years, there's been lawmakers trying to add these protections. So again, children, we have to keep trying. Yeah. We must keep trying and never give up. We can't give up.
We can't give up. It's going to be like, it's a constant fight. It's so exhausting. And I think every generation goes, I'm the one to stop this, and things still keep popping up.
Yeah.
But we just have to keep moving forward. And also,
and nothing's going to be perfect. I don't understand when this thing came into the like general consciousness that everything has to be perfect or fixed.
It's the ruination of everything. It's the idea that, first of all, we're all famous. We all are on the internet. We all have platforms. Everybody, it's like, how dare you say that to me? It's that all or nothing thinking of like, I deserve only the best. It's the thing that's really scary to me about like, I have this issue with this person, so I'm not going to vote for them. It's like, you can have that issue with that person and vote for them. Like both of those things have to be true. We have to have complex thought. We can't just be like, are you this or are you that? That's what's gotten us into all this trouble.
It's strange to me for a generation of people who are like, I don't want to live in the binary.
Right.
That there's this weird flip of expecting binary results.
Exactly. And it's not even better on the other side because it's like, it's the same exercise. It's that pendulum swinging. And I don't want to spoil this. I just saw this. I don't want to say because for people, I love this movie that I just saw. But if I say it, it's going to kind of spoil a big part of the ending. But basically it's a queer person who realizes that they are into the opposite sex this one time. And it's this opening up of what being queer actually means. And I think it's beautiful because it was actually, to me, very inclusive. And I just saw this with a much younger queer person who was so mad that the person's not queer at the end. I'm like, they're still queer. They're just with someone of the opposite sex now, but they're bi or pan or poly, or they're just queer, but how exciting that they can include that, but how binary of you to make them stay queer.
Yeah.
And when he was doing that, I was like going, wait a minute, honey, you're the person. And, and it was just an interesting observation that just happened that I was like, oh, wow, I'm interested in you're so mad. Like, she gave it all up for a man. And I was like, I actually didn't see it that way. I felt like she was getting to know herself more and she was not abandoning her queer side. So I think it's like, we can be just that thing too about like, it has to always be gay. And it's like, well, it can be, but that can mean something a lot more interesting and layered and complicated than what you've decided gay is or what you've decided gender is. And just because you're liberal, you can be the most closed-minded person on earth. You can be just as closed-minded as someone who's a right-winger. You're too far on one side. It's dangerous.
What excites me about the future is the ability to live in a place where there's still curiosity and experimenting and like discovery and not necessarily knowing everything and being like right.
Yes.
I like that. Like giving it all up and being like, I don't fucking know. All I know is what my heart, I'm going to sound like a goddamn hippie, but like,
it's all right. I love it.
All I know is what I feel and what I think and what I love. And that's all I have. That's all I got.
Right. And if something doesn't affect my life and I can be okay with that. If that helps your life more, like if me doing this small gesture means the world to you, but why do I care? Like I can just go, all right, cool. Or I can learn. Oh shit, I was wrong. I love, sometimes you apologize when you don't need to. It's fine. It's like, it's actually a lovely feeling to say, I'm sorry, and learning from that and kind of going, oh, wow, get yourself out of because a lot of times I feel like, why am I crazy? And sometimes it's like, you are being crazy and you are being close-minded, Drew. You need to examine that. And it's hard, but when you get on the other side of it, you're like, oh, that's so cool that I don't think that way anymore, or I think less that way, or I've considered something new.
Or I realize this thing triggered me because of something that I'm not dealing with inside of myself. It has nothing to do with this other thing.
Right.
Now, I will spoil it for people. I know you didn't want to spoil it, but that is Terminator 5, the movie you're talking about.
So sorry. Terminator 5, Linda Hamilton comes back.
Okay, yeah. I don't even know what number we're on, but I know that's...
I don't either, but that sounds right. I think you're right. I think there have been 4, if I had to guess. That's Terminator 5. I wish. That's the Terminator I would come back for. But they're going to do that.
You hear
now
me,
with
James
AI.
Cameron? I think he's out of the franchise, but...
Wait, he's watching, right?
Yeah, always. James...
Can you explain The Abyss?
Haven't you seen my... Why are they choking on water, but then they can breathe? Drew, if you haven't seen my car, it says James Cameron's always watching. So, and I believe
what?
That. Yeah, I have a bumper sticker that says.
Why does it say that? I want to know. I love that.
I had my car wrapped in it.
Wait, what? I'm sure you've talked about this on here before.
No, I don't have my car wrapped that says James Cameron's always watching.
No, I was like, I fully went there. I'm so gullible. I was like, okay, so you did.
Went to Santa Fe and I got a real unhealthy obsession with James Cameron.
You learned to love a hatch pepper and
Christmas sauce. I like Christmas style burritos. I got a custom made cowboy hat and I love James Cameron.
Yeah.
I'm from Santa Fe, baby.
I like Santa Fe a lot. I've been there. I spent like a week there once and I really liked it there a lot.
Oh, you didn't call me?
Beautiful. Oh, it was before you lived there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever want to come back, I live here.
I love it.
Don't come when I'm in LA. Only come when I'm in Santa Fe.
Oh, well,
That's
no,
how that
of
will
course.
Work. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, the vibe is really great. And the food is incredible and very arty and very like...
7,000 feet. You can't be that crazy and neurotic up here because there's not enough oxygen.
I love that.
It makes you calm down.
Yeah.
I manage. Nevertheless, she persisted.
Yeah, but yes,
it's not
exactly.
as bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sea level makes, I definitely rip my cuticles off.
That's so crazy. Yeah, because you normally think like, but
You think it's going to be, it's worse.
You think the opposite. You think like, oh, I'm like closer to the ground. I'm not like, I have plenty of oxygen to like, and you're like, yeah, no.
No. Come to the mountains and be kind to yourself. And come to my James Cameron retrospective playing every Tuesday night.
Imagine this car that's just all over you, just driving through and no one questions.
Nobody. Oh no. People don't ask questions here. You get to be exactly who you are, whether that's a person who has a Subaru wrapped with James Cameron love letter or not. Drew, I cannot thank you enough for filling in today. What a dream.
God, thanks for having me anytime. I love doing this. I love chatting with you.
People can see you at it's called the Old Globe Theater, right?
The Old Globe, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Till November
3rd. I'm in the play. It's called Dracula, A Comedy of Terrors. And I have it all on my Insta. You can follow me on Insta. I've got it.
Get right on there.
In San Diego in the next month. Come check us out.
I would
say. And say hi after.
I'm going to say something bold. I think it's worth a day trip from Los Angeles. Nay. An overnight. I think you should stay in San Diego. I think you should go to Balboa Island. I think you should go see Drew in the show. I think you should go get yourself a gorgeous taco. I think you should grab a coffee and then get right back on the freeway.
Yep. Right. Just enjoy. Just take all the riches and boom. Out. Done.
Out. Do it. Go, like a marauder.
A beach bandit.
A beach bandit. Drew, you're incredible. Thank you so much for coming on.
You are, Erin. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Drew Droege, for coming on and filling in. We had for our scheduling to this week. We had a scheduling thing. We got some iTunes and Apple Podcasts and Spotify reviews. Harlem NYC 5-star says, we need Trish School of the Arts merch, 10 out of 10. I've already been, every time my husband mentions went to Tish, I said, well, I went to Trish, bitch. Amy Sue 2024 says, #1 YouTube dermatology podcast. Are you looking for a podcast that gives questionable secondhand skincare advice while also incorporating obscure Les Mis references? This is the podcast for you. I love that. By the way, after I said I don't like Instagram doctors, a bunch of people DM me being like, oh, no, you're wrong. Here's the best one. And I was like, no, these people, I don't want doctors' advice from Instagram. You can go on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, review the show. It really helps us. Also, we're on Patreon. Maybe you know. We've got Vault episode 58, where Brian pitches WNGN, World News, Gay News Work. Birth of Pizza Horse and doing body shots at Papa John's. Do I remember any of that? Absolutely not. Also, a non-Dateline true crime recap out for all tiers this week. Brian goes to 2020 with Stephanie guest hosting. Brian in the show is hot for, who is this? David Muir? Sergio?
He's the host of ABC's World News Tonight, and he also intros the 2020.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get caught up. No one at 2020 ever looks at the camera, and then we meet icon Pat LaMama in all her rugged glory. Oh, no, rouged glory. Now I get it. Then we've got season 4 of Groceries out. New episodes are out on Tuesdays this week. I went to Co-Opportunity Market. Well, I didn't go this week, but this week I covered Co-Opportunity Market in Santa Monica. Yes, I love a co-op. Sue me. And if you have any tales from the aisles or product labels to send us, go do that at groceriespodcast@gmail.com. We also have YouTube. You get to watch the first act of our video episodes every week for free. You can just go on YouTube and search for Attitudes Pod. And then we've got our watch parties on Discord. Links are in all the descriptions for those episodes. So hop on over there. And then we'll be back together again next week. Until then, there's a catchphrase that I'm forgetting. Bye.